And welcome everyone to the Los Alamitos preview show and a big weekend of racing here at Los Alamitos for several reasons. First, we have two outstanding stakes races, the Grade 1 Oaks, the Grade 2 El Primero, plus the return of the two-year-old races here at Los Alamitos. We have the first two juvenile races here of the year on Sunday. And happy to be joined by our panel here, George Duarte, Michael Rona, and of course, Christopher Wade. Michael, we'll start with you really quickly. What a weekend last week. And how about Cattail Cove? What a performance from Cattail Cove last week.
Yes, indeed. Just remarkable, isn't he? 8 years old, 2 for 2 as an 8-year-old and 3 straight wins. And I mentioned on the preview show last week that I didn't think he'd ever won 3 races in a row before. Well, I look back through his lifetime past performances. He never actually won 2 races in a row before until recently. And so this is just a rich vein of form. I was saying that if he came and caught doing it just for fun at the end of 350, why couldn't he do it at the end of 400? And that's exactly how it panned out.
Yeah, absolutely. He is just a warrior. In fact, on losalamitos.com, AQHA and their Q Racing blog, written by Ty Wyan, they're featuring Cattail Cove right now. You can check out the story on our website. The title, Tireless Grit, because this horse is just continues to perform at the highest level. 8 years old, over 50 races, and just keeps on winning. What a runner Cattail Cove is. George, you're back from Las Vegas. Give us an update. How did it go? How many 300 games did you bowl?
Oh, I bowled 0. I averaged about 190 to 200 all 3 games, and in Vegas that is not good enough. So I was glad to be home. I was like, I needed to hurry up and get home. It was an unfortunate trip, but there's always next season, and so I'm not worried about it. But I mean, props to the connections of Cattail Cove, the owner for keeping them in training, Juan for doing such a good job of keeping this horse, very competitive since he was 2 years old. He hasn't had, one season where he didn't perform well. So it's a really good train job, and he just keeps on going.
Absolutely. Chris, you've seen a lot of great horses here at Los Alamitos over time, but it's always special to have a veteran like Cattail Cove that just keeps delivering top performances, isn't it?
And he's got a heart as big as the track, and that came to fruition last weekend when he didn't have a very good trip. He had some trouble away from the gate, and it was his heart that got him home. Very, very impressive. Look, the front ender was long gone on the front end, but he overcame the trouble away from the gate and finished well to get the victory there. Very impressive, and you just got to give him all the comeuppance because he's just something special.
Absolutely. Congratulations once again to the connections of the great Cattail Cove. Some outstanding races this weekend here at Los Alamitos, and of course the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Oaks on Saturday. Here it is. The past performances are now on the screen. We're going to talk about the Oaks. We'll also talk about the El Primero on Sunday night. Here's the field to the Los Alamitos Oaks. Eddie Willis is sending out Shaken going on from the rail at 8-1. I like this filly here. Won a trial to the Oaks. Elizabeth Alexandria. Chris Way will have a little bit more to talk about. Elizabeth Alexandria. She's breaking from post 2 at 6-1. Up to Party, trained by Ramiro Castillo, 3-1 here on the morning line. She won a couple of futurities last year. And how about Gentry Farms with the number 4 horse, Bold and Beautiful, running second to a Political Chilitas in the trials, 10-1. There's the Political Chilitas at 5-1. And the reason I kind of mentioned Bold and Beautiful as well, Gentry Farms is going to have 2 runners in the Oaks. The number 6 horse, Streaking 6 at 8-1 for Monty and Patsy Cluck. They were part of the ownership group, I believe, of Brown Coffee, if I remember correctly. The 7 Beach Walk at 6-1, the fastest qualifier, but you're getting 6-1 with Beach Walk. Number 8, Call Her Perfect at 10-1. Number 9, Hot Temptation at 8-1 as well. And number 10, Powerful Wise Lady at 10-1. So does that make Up to Party and Elizabeth Alexandria among the top favorites as far as the morning line is concerned. Looking at this field from top to bottom, what are your thoughts, Michael?
Well, I don't want to steal Chris's thunder, but I was going to actually highlight Elizabeth Alexandria, who in the preview show prior to the trials to the Oaks was a filly I mentioned as a value chance, and she was absolutely mind-boggling at 12-1 the way she finished. So I'll leave it at that. I suppose looking elsewhere in a very wide open race, Bold and Beautiful making a habit of outrunning her odds, except for the time she was odds on when she won her maiden. But outside of that, in good company, trials, etc., she's consistently disrespected at the windows, and she keeps putting in really nice performances. And at 10-1, I certainly would be including her in all my exotic plays, but gee, it's a very difficult race. Very evenly bunched group of quality fillies.
So we kind of already teased it that Chris is going to be focusing in on number 2, Elizabeth Alexandria. Before we go to Chris for his thoughts on this talented filly, George, what do you think of the field and the odds? Because we are always looking for value.
I think every horse provides value here because I don't think the favorite will be under 5-2. And then, it took me a long time. I was going back and forth on who I wanted to pick because there's just so many horses that have question marks or so many horses that have upside. And it's just, like Beach Walk, who is the fastest qualifier. I think the reason Ed made her 6th one on the line is just that she's probably like the most boring horse of this field. She runs her race, and if it's good enough, it's good enough. And all these other horses, like, even Streak and Sis, who looked really good prior to that race in their trial, has every right to improve. And she finished well against Shaking Going On. Then you got the 2 Willis horses who are small and quick and can, just try to get out there early and hold on. And it's just a really tough race. It's a race that I'm going to spread in the pick 4. There's no way I'm singling. I'll feel comfortable. But I ended up going with Beach Walk, even though Martin went with her stablemate. I just think she ended up picking up one of the best gate riders in Eduardo Nicasio. So she should be out there in the front, and she just keeps getting better and better towards the end in her finishing. So I think she's probably the most likely to run her race. So that's why I ended up picking her on top in this really competitive race.
Yeah, what you're referencing is that Martina Arriaga qualified both Beach Walk with the fastest time, and Bold and Beautiful had the 3rd fastest time when she ran 2nd in her trial. And Martina Arriaga, of those 2, he is going to be riding Bold and Beautiful in the final. So the mount opens up on the fastest qualifier, Beach Walk, and Eduardo Nicasio is the one that ends up the beneficiary of this. And I mean, what a tremendous big money rider we're talking about, Eduardo Nicasio, over 100 stakes wins here at Los Alamitos, and he's going to get Beach Walk, who, like you mentioned, always just runs a really nice race, no matter where she is positioned in the gate. Chris, made you wait long enough, but we are looking forward to hearing your thoughts on Elizabeth Alexandria. That's your pick for the weekend, right, Chris?
Yeah, this is a nice sized individual. She always showed ability, but she came off a long layoff of 266 nights and was well meant. I mean, she only had the 2 turning works to get her ready, no gate drills, and it showed. She didn't come out of the gate at all whatsoever. She broke slow. She was crossed, slow on the stride. She angled out for clearance, and she absolutely flew late the final half of the affair on her own, man, galloped out very, very strongly. So with expected improvement, I wish she was drawn on the outside because she's not the quickest, a foot away from the barrier. But off that effort on the numbers, she's got a big look at the outcome. 6-1 is nice and juicy, but it's a closely matched affair. Go a number of ways. Of course, you got to give a look to Apolitical Cholitas, that one that George liked last time and got the victory from the inside post. And of course, Beach Walk won well nicely last time. And of course, Powerful Wisely the outside always runs well from the outside post. So it's a closely matched affair. But Elizabeth Alexandria, with expected improvement, a decent getaway, big look at the outcome as our price play and preview show selection.
Okay, here's a look at that trial race. Elizabeth Alexandria right there, smack in the middle of the 7-horse field here. She's going to start from post number 4, yellow silks and the white helmet of jockey Jose Nicasio, who will ride her back in the final as well. Here's Elizabeth Alexandria, and just once more, Chris, you can kind of walk us through this trip that she will have.
You can see her lean back at the start. She was brushed away from there, slow in the stride, lost a good amount of ground, and angled out for some clearance. And as a nice-sized individual on a horse comes over on her, but watch her finish the final half of the affair on her own. Nice-sized individual was starting out very, very strongly, beat the length for the whole thing, but watch the gallop out between horses. It was very impressive and very, very impressive effort. And with expected improvement, hopefully second time off that long layoff for 266 nights and a decent getaway, the horse has a big look at the outcome that 6-1. But it's a closely matched affair. Could go a number of ways there in the Los Alamitos Oaks. But I'm going to give a slight look there to the 2, Elizabeth Alexandria. Hopefully a better getaway puts her in the mix early as well.
Yeah, and I remember around this time last year, she was one of our first juvenile winners of the 2024 season. And we've been waiting for Elizabeth Alexandria to have a chance to win a big one here at Los Al. Let's see if it happens here on Saturday night. I must mention Saturday special post time. Can't forget about the post time there. First post on Saturday will be 6:05 p.m. There is no turfway at night. Santa Anita ends around 5 p.m. So Los Alamitos will have a lot of spotlight here on Saturday night. Center stage on FanDuel TV, as well as your local satellite facility. So we encourage you, of course, to join us at 6:05 p.m. for our first race on the Saturday night card. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to talk about the El Primero del Año Derby and also the 2-year-olds in action here at Los Alamitos. We'll be right back. Oh, we saw that nice montage of all the horses that are going to be running in the El Primero del Año Derby. Now, let's go ahead and bring up the past performances as we have them right now. And look at this outstanding Grade 2 field, over $235,000 of purse money there. And right away, from post number 1, we have the fastest qualifier and the 8-5 favorite. The huge value everywhere in the Oaks, and here, everybody's trying to beat Train Butaka at 8-5, starting from post number 1. So impressive in his Derby trial, winning by 3/4 of a length. There's the 2, Just Send Kevin, trial winner as well in the El Primero qualifying night, 4-1 on the morning line. The 3, Do the Job at 30-1. The 4, Midnight Mood at 8-1. This runner ran third in the Governor's Cup Futurity last year. Favorite Semental at 8-1. I really like this runner. Had a really tough go in the Los Alamitos Winter Derby final. Can he make amends here in the El Primero from post 5? Ultimate Battle. We've seen him run second in several Futurities last year. Can he get that first place finish this time around? There's a 7, Speed Favorite at 20-1, Jackpot Farms. And this runner running second to defending champ. We'll be talking a little bit more about defending champ number 8. There he is at 8-1. He is a favorite of the panel here at Los Al because he's had some really impressive efforts defending champ of late. The 9, Fire Tools 1-3 at 20-1. There's the 10, Show and Tell Cartel at 10-1 as well. I'll go ahead and start with Chris on your thoughts here overall on this field, Chris.
It's a great field. Got to give the slight look, of course, to Train Butaka. Horse has just been so sharp all racing season. Mike Youngers, who's been incredible wherever he goes. It makes no difference the classification, competition, or the venue. The horse, he's been having a great season here at Los Alamitos and elsewhere throughout the racing season. Last year, this year, been going so good. Got to give him a slight look because the horse is just so sharp. Connections are very, very good. Has a look at the outcome, and of course, you got the hard knock and defending champ. The horse is steadily moving forward for Scott and the doctor. Got his distance last time. Didn't have a very good start, but finished like a freight train to get the job done. So expected improvement, hopefully a better getaway. Has a big look there as well. And of course, one of my old hard knockers, favorite Cemento, has been a preview show horse selection on a couple of occasions. And drawn between horses, that's the only concern. He's won all his races, either on the inside or the outside. But number-wise, his horse is got to look at the outcome if he can get away halfway decently from that inside post. Of course, kind of a long shot looker, Fire Tools 1-3 to the outside for the connections as well. But Train Butaka, slight look there in that 9th event.
Okay, you mentioned Train Butaka. I do have a little soundbite here for trainer Mark Jungers. He saddled Train Butaka to a runner effort in the Winter Derby and now looking to win the El Primero. Here's Mark Jungers.
They did well, and they've done extremely well out here in California. So.
The Winter Derby, we're all hoping for another showdown between him and Brown Coffee, just like they did in the trials.
Yes, sir.
What do you think happened in that race?
We broke a little tardy, and I mean that horse is outstanding. I mean he ran huge in the 2 million, and, Brown Coffee, and so any given day, how it is. But this colt runs huge today, and if he ran that race in the finals, we may have won it. But we're here and we're excited. So
Awesome.
glad to have another shot.
And you could hear the wind on that night. The wind was pretty heavy in all over the place on the night of the trials. George, this field, anyone that stands out for you? We know Train Butaka is the big favorite, 8-5.
The race goes through him. The only reason somebody would have pause would be the rail draw. But he draws next to a big horse in Just St. Kevin, who is typically slow in the first few strides, so he should get away cleanly. And he just finished so good last time, and he just keeps getting better. He's only ran 9 times in his career. He still has plenty of upside. And these freight train Bs, they start getting better, as the older they get. So he should keep progressing. And he's strictly the one to beat. Underneath is where it's a lot more wide open. I feel, Ultimate Battle should run a better race, second off the layoff. For Eddie Willis, who I coin as the juvenile king. He loves to win. He loves to run good. He gets them ready he knows how to get them ready for the finals. And a lot of times he ends up not qualifying, but then ends up winning the consolations. So he's always a guy I always look out for if he makes to the final or in the juvenile. So you have to expect improvement out of Ultimate Battle. And of course, defending champ, he had trouble last time, but kept his path and displayed that late kick he has. And I think he draws pretty well. He draws in between horses that break pretty straight. I mean, Fire Tools did lug in last time, but I think he's just as quick as him, and he should be able to keep his path, and he'll be hurt from late.
Now to Michael Rona, because Michael, you were all over defending champ right away, dating back to last year. Your thoughts on the El Primero del Año Derby? Are you going with defending champ in the big final, Michael?
Yeah, I'm going with him. There's still upside. He's had 2 races in this form cycle off a little freshening. And I just think it sets him up so well. He's got one of the outside gates. And if he maintains a clear path, he'll be very strong. And the odds of 8-1 are very attractive. At the risk of repeating myself, I posted on X late last year after the 2 million futurity trials what a big 3-year-old season I think this horse will have. And so I'm going to stick with him here to win the Derby, the El Primero del Año Derby. I know he didn't run as fast a time as Train Bitaka. You mentioned when you were playing that Mark Younger's interview, Orlando, about how windy it was. So I have a question for each of you gents as to how much you allow for wind speed, because Train Bitaka, winning in the fastest qualifying time, had a 12-mile-per-hour tailwind. Defending champ winning his trial, 5 miles per hour. How much of a difference does 7 miles per hour make?
I mean, I do something simple with mine is I just add, if it's a tailwind, I just add it to the final clocking. Like for example, Train Bitaka went 1963 with a 12-mile-an-hour wind. I just add those 12 mile an hour into the final time. So for me, he really went 1975. So that's what I do with them, and it's always worked for me. I don't know how accurate that's going to be, but that's what I do. And I remember that night, it was really, during the first few races, it was really strong headwind. I think it was easily over 20 miles an hour for those thoroughbred races on that night. And it started to calm down. You know, every race it started dropping until basically the end. There was very little wind.
Yeah, well, the discrepancy in time is pretty significant, I'll admit, between Train Bitaka and defending champ. More so than a 7 mile per hour tailwind would really. I mean, I don't think the tailwind goes close to making up that big of a difference in the qualifying times, but still, it's interesting to just note. And Train Bitaka won his first start at Los Alamitos from the rail. We know he can do it from the fence. And I agree with George that the race strictly goes through him. He's been performing at a peak level across 6 races now, or this will be the 6th since he came here to the West Coast. Races in fairly quick succession. I guess maybe there's a little query as to how a horse can maintain peak form over multiple months. But Youngers knows what he's doing, and you just can't fault any aspect of the operation nationwide. And the horse just seems to be ticking over beautifully, and I'm sure he'll be very tough. But at the odds, based on the opinion I formed of defending champ late last year, I've got to be with him from post position 8. He'll be coming home strongly, and I think he's got a real chance of getting there in time to win the race.
And just really quickly, Chris, the question was shared there about how you handle the time when it comes to the wind. Really quickly, Chris.
Okay, when I do my track variances, it all comes into play. How a horse, each and every horse after trouble and track variant. I come up with my track variants after doing adjusted times and adjust them accordingly. So it doesn't really figure in when I do my variances. That's when it comes into play. It's either faster and or slower depending on the track variant, trouble track variant, and final time after adjusted.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at that trial race from defending champ back on March the 2nd. He is gonna break from post number 4, also right there, smack in the middle between horses.
Yeah, he's a little bit slow. Gets a slight brush as the horse on his outside drifts in a little bit, and he's off the pace quite clearly. But he's got plenty of room to move coming past the gap, and he extends his stride so impressively in the closing stages to get up and win. And he's been wanting 400 yards, and it's just so suitable for him, this distance. If he gets room out wider on the track in the final on Sunday night, he's a good chance of mowing them down, although the one horse is going to be very tough to get by.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about around the Winter Derby trials is we were a little bit surprised as to why he wasn't in there. I got a chance to talk to Scott Willoughby about that very same thing right after defending
Strategic
champ.
plan to kind of skip the Winter Derby and just focus in this race. What was
Yeah,
there?
so we had Norco in the other race, and this horse has just figured out how to get down the track. You need to go down the track further. I want to give him an easier race, and he ran really well that last race. And he broke terrible tonight, but he come running down through there, so I expect a lot from him in the finals.
The 400-yard distance, how do you think as he continues to mature and go, how do you think he's going to do in those longer distances?
Oh, I think he loves it. I think we've been waiting for him to get down the racetrack, you know. He was just a little late blooming, and he's come around really well for us this year.
They've been waiting for this distance, gentlemen. So looking forward to seeing a defending champ 8-1 on the morning line. Michael, you had a huge winner last week at a price, that Milagro. Ended up paying what, like over $20, right?
Yeah, he went off at 11-1, 12-1 morning line. And I think he paid $24. So that was a nice result for sure. I hope that some followers of the preview show extracted some value and profit from that.
Oh, they definitely did, because he opened up at 2-1. I was surprised he floated up at 11-1. So there was plenty of Macarona money on there.
Excellent. So looking forward to this outstanding race. And before we go ahead and move on, George, do you have a play at all on either Saturday or Sunday?
It's on Saturday, and speaking of 110-yard race, I have one in that race. It's the 7th on Saturday.
Who's it going to be, George?
I really like the outside horse, Butter Homes and Garden. I think she won it. I really liked her when she won the race in October at this distance. Draws perfectly outside of a slower breaker, probably the slowest breaker in the race in space flight, and should just have clear sailing. I mean, the other ones that are pretty quick are all drawn next to each other, so I think that just gives her that advantage. And in this sequence in the pick 4, where you have that last race that is a very spready race, this is where you can single, probably in a race that people are not comfortable singling. People usually don't want to single in a 110-yard race. So if you can single here and then be able to spread out, and then in the last, you should be able to you can get home, across this hurdle of the 110-yarder. You're going to be sitting pretty in the last race. I'm going to probably be going all at least in one of my tickets in that Oaks, because I can see anybody winning that race.
Well, the one thing about Butters, Homes, and Garden is what a quality group of rivals she's faced recently: Rocking with Energy, Miss Aisao, JQM, Nymphet. And the one time that she ran at this distance had a really good time, 7 flat. That's a very, very good time at this distance.
And she gets along really well with Cesar Franco. I mean, he broke her on top the last 2 times she ran. In good times, 1540 is a really good time for 300 yards, and so is 1778 for 350. So there's lots to like. Elena's been doing good lately, and she really does good with these fillies and mares, and she keeps them going for forever. She doesn't give them breaks. She just keeps running them, and they keep firing.
I'm looking forward to that 110-yard dash right before the Los Alamitos Oaks on Saturday. Let's jump back to the Sunday card because just want to highlight some of the 2-year-olds that will be racing on Sunday. Here's our first race for 2-year-olds of the season. The Dinastia Roja for that very same trainer, Elena Andrade, worked between horses and had a really nice effort there. I thought Shining Favorite looked really good in her gate work. Just the way overall, very professional looking drill for Shining Favorite. And I gotta say, I thought Strawberry Silk showed some potential as well. So maybe not at this distance, but as they go to 300 yards, I think Strawberry Silk might do okay. George, any thoughts? You read all the comments here on the Nightlines program. Anything that stood out?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Shining Favorite, I thought, was the clear horse that looked the best in that race in terms of the work. The small sampling of a workout. You only got one workout, and you've seen plenty of horses improve a lot on their second workout. So, but based on just the first one, I thought Shining Favorite was the standout in the race. And there's a lot of new sires in that race, which makes it interesting. There's Constituent, Executive Cartel, a horse that was unraced, and Ivor Pegaso. So it's good to follow to see who's doing good, because a lot of times you'll see horses, breeding sires have like really peak out seasons. Like 2 years ago, you had Flying Cowboy won when Boost first started. He was winning every 2-year-old race early. So pay attention on what sires are winning, and maybe you can catch a trend early before everybody else does.
Yeah, and another one, MP Shining, a young stallion as well. I mentioned Shining Favorite looked really good in that workout. So yeah, some new names there from the stallion ranks here at Los Alamitos. Here's race 8. These are 2-year-olds, males. These are the males. From this one, I thought about Future looked really good. None of them like blew me away as far as the gate works from this one. Touch Base was solid, and Cyber Alert as well. But I thought Val Future had a nice workout. Chris, any horse that stood out from this field?
No, I hold like Harley, the Future horse look the best, slightly best. These are horses that are well meant and talented. They look like they might need a race and or two to run to their ability. But I give you the slight look. The same with you with the Future horse is the one who has the best drill so far. But I got a couple good ones for you at Remington Park for the simulcast wagering. So when you get a chance, I'll throw you a couple that way.
Yeah, it's worth noting on Val Future, his two of the siblings, the last two siblings have qualified for the kindergarten futurity. So it's really early breeding. Foos is really good early on. So that I think for me, the main concern is the inexperienced rider. You know, he hasn't had that many mounts last year. He only had 21 quarter horse mounts last year, and now he's running a 2-year-old debut runner. So that's the only concern I have. But I think it's the most talented, at least at this point in time, in that race.
And of course, we are going to have trials from Remington Park. They are off and running here. And of course, Los Alamitos bringing all the simulcast action from Remington Park. Chris, you always take a look at these races very closely. You have any picks that you want to give us for Remington Park on Saturday?
Yeah, all our selections from races, I think 3 through 11, are on the website and in the program. But I'm going to focus in on race number 6, Wired Cartel. This horse had a good amount of trouble in his debut off a couple of very nice training races. But this horse didn't get away very well. He broke slow, was crossed, but finished like a freight train up on the inside, beaten ahead by stablemate, and galloped out very, very well. So if you get anything close to that morning line, go to the window. He looks like he's got a big look at the outcome for Quality Connection. So Wired Cartel in race number 6.
Yeah, these are pain horses here going in these trials. Anything else? Anyone else?
Yeah, race number 8, you got to beat the 6-5 favorite Turbulent, but he ran on a night that was a little bit of a headwind, excuse me. But the 8 horse drawn up against him, the whole habits to new tricks. Has a look at the outcome as well. So you're getting a much better price horse who was very impressive in his his race, and has a big look at the outcome and a nice price. So that race number 8, 7-8 looks pretty tough. Then we got one in race number 9. We're a horse who was very impressive on a sloppy track, was on the inside that night for Quality Connections off some good workouts coming from Retama Park, but didn't get away very well, but finished well and beaten by a head for the whole thing, but galloped out very, very strong. So a baby step forward, a better getaway, puts them in the mix, and should be triple tough to die there in race number 9.
Verity here at 8-1 from post number 4. D. Keener already has 3 wins and off to a nice start for trainer D. Keener, 21% here. So thank you for sharing that, Chris. We are featuring simulcast from Remington Park. Of course, the big weekend here at Los Alamitos on Saturday. First post is 6:05 p.m. 8 races on Saturday night. The feature event, the Los Alamitos Oaks, and like we just talked about, you could go so many different ways. Like Chris likes to say, anybody from this group can get a slice of the pie here in the Los Alamitos Oaks. And of course, on Sunday, we have the El Primero del Año Derby here at Los Alamitos. Thank you to all of you, George, Michael, and Chris, for all the great information you bring each and every preview show. I really appreciate it. I know the fans appreciate it as well. Thank you to the fans for spending some time here with us. I will leave you with a quick little interview with Juan Aleman. He has the fastest qualifier in the Los Alamitos Oaks. Have a great weekend, everyone.
What makes them so good as far as the way that they just so quickly improve and get to
back? I think it goes back to the family. You know, I've had the, pleasure of training her mother, the mothers, a lot of the daughters, and that family. I mean, can't beat it. You know, they try so hard. They got a lot of heart, just like their names. You know.
Is that the quality that kind of embodies all of them, the pretty similarities?
Yeah,
just
you know, she got a heartbeat, and I trained that filly. She was a real fast filly, and she had a lot of heart, and she passes it on to her daughters.
Congratulations.